Welcome back to another evening with the resilient Jenkins, TikTok's current favorite family to hate on. We're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
This is my 5th child, okay? Gentle parenting don't do shit. I will not raise my kids with gentle parenting. It is because I smoke marijuana!
The resilient Jenkins situation that's going down on TikTok right now is really gonna piss you off. This is actually all happening in my hometown, and I have so many questions, concerns, and suspicions about the whole thing. At first, I really felt for this family of 6 living in a small 1-bedroom apartment, but as I dug deeper and more information came out, things are actually a lot worse and more dangerous than anyone could have expected. Resilient Jenkins is a TikTok account ran by Stephanie, a mom who claims they are a multicultural family of 6 going on 7. They live in Portland, Oregon, and they have 100,000 followers, and their videos are now getting millions of views. And that's because for a few years, Stephanie has been posting these very rage bait videos, really trying and hoping to go viral.
And tell me why, when it's a woman in power, they're always bitches and they're always fucking white.
Because apparently her husband told her if they go viral on TikTok, he would give her more babies. Now, her husband is a whole other can of worms that we will get to later on, but they have 4 kids and 1 on the way. Mind you, they are a blended family. The husband, who goes by Drew, has a child from a previous relationship, and Stephanie has 2 daughters from a different baby daddy, and 1 child going on 2 with this current husband. I hope that makes sense because the family dynamic here is really important to mention. But anyway, together they all live in a 1-bedroom apartment. And this is the first video that really kicked off for them.
As you can read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. As the kids grow older, that means we constantly have to adapt our environment to give them more means for privacy and extra space. When outside our environment appears cluttered, disorganized, what have you. But quite frankly, after making do for nearly 3 years now, I have nothing but a grateful spirit for the roof over our head. Generally, the instant judgment me and my husband receive, why have so many kids if you don't have enough space for them? See, my perception is judgment comes from a place of not having the experience. When you've experienced enough, you generally don't judge people. I can tell you after everything I've been through in the past 3 years, there's very little I have to judge people on. I would be lying if I said there wasn't a point in my life that I was so naive that I might have judged a poor person based off their appearance. And like I said, I have learned a lot. I generally look like I'm roughing it, but that's because our kids come first. I do everything I can to keep our environment clean and tidy. When it comes down to it, I could shove everything my kids have in 1 bedroom of some of these houses I see, and it would really look like nothing. We try to teach our kids to take care of what they have, be grateful for what we have. We keep praying and pushing for the growth that we want.
Right off the bat, she talks about how they constantly have to makeshift their small space to give the kids more privacy. She talks about as long as the kids are loved, fed, and have a roof over their head, then that's all that matters, and that we shouldn't judge a situation that we haven't ourselves experienced. And at first, I truly felt bad for this family, as many others did too. Having to grow up poor is really hard. I have been there myself when my family immigrated to the US. We had to live in a 2-bedroom apartment in Portland, Oregon, in a terrible neighborhood without even speaking English. It was rough, but my father wasted no time and worked his butt off to get us out of there. And you know what else? None of my siblings had to sleep on mats on the floor in the living room next to the front door. But the Jenkins family have it completely reversed. These parents have their children sleeping in the living room by the front door while they take the room. They have a king bed in their room and a big screen TV and a PS5. While the children's don't even have proper beds, they sleep on these mats on the floor. And if that wasn't bad enough, Stephanie even admitted that they leave their doors unlocked and that they don't even have a proper lock on their door. This has me fuming. You mean to tell me that you can't buy a proper lock to keep your kids safe, but you can buy a PS5? I lived in the Portland area most of my life, and her apartment is in a horribly dangerous location ridden with crime, and we don't even have enough police officers to assist. And don't even get me started on the drug epidemic around here. Everybody's on something. They do some weird things. Break-ins happen all the time. I live in a rural area outside of the city, and I have a fenced yard, locked gates, and guard dogs protecting my yard, but I still lock the door every night and even during the day because you never know what can happen. There are so many weirdos out here. This woman basically doxed herself by asking her viewers to send her stuff off of her Amazon wish list, putting her address out there. And yes, people started sending them stuff, but I'm getting too ahead of myself. Mind you, all of their children are under 10 years old. They all sleep in the living room on these tiny makeshift beds or some mats on the floor, while you guys get to take the room with a king bed and, wait, I was wrong, not one but 2 TVs. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense why you can't buy a lock on that door, or why you can't buy those kids some bunk beds. But they had money for a PS5 though. And let me just say, any man that has kids that doesn't work yet sits around and plays video games is a freaking loser. But yeah, let's talk about that husband. His name is Drew or Andrew, who cares? He apparently sometimes works for DoorDash, and he had multiple jobs in the past, but doesn't want to do any jobs that are too strenuous on the body, you know, they're just too hard on him. So he basically can't keep a job and is a dusty bum. And what they are doing is absolute child neglect, because get this, they have cats in that tiny apartment too. And they have fleas. And Stephanie also mentioned how those kids have lice and they're just so hard to get rid of. They haven't been able to get rid of them. So they're living in fleas, lice infested apartment with cat litter boxes everywhere because they have 4 cats. Yeah, 4 kids and 4 cats.
Guys, this is our family of 6, soon to be 7, in a 1-bedroom apartment. First of all, don't.
What is selfish is taking a family's poverty position and making it your profit. This is disgusting.
I know you fucking lying. Isn't that what you're doing? You're taking your family's poverty situation and turning it into profit. And you're going to talk about disgusting? What's disgusting is your kids are sleeping on the same floor that your cats are pissing and shitting on.
Oh, where does Stephanie get these random cats from? Yeah, they're stray cats. So we don't know what kind of diseases they may be carrying or vaccination history, anything about them. And I don't even understand how they're allowed to rent a 1-bedroom apartment with 4 children and 4 cats. Like, how does the landlord not? Last time I checked, that's not allowed. And I know they're getting some state assistance, but I wonder why isn't he working? Well, long story short, he doesn't want to show that he's making money because get this, he doesn't want to pay child support for a child he had outside of this marriage. Yeah, his baby mama came out to speak on it.
Hi, I'm the first baby mama. I'm absolutely embarrassed the fact that that's my sperm donor. I will not be posting my child on here because y'all not gonna know. But my son is almost 12. That man walked out of his son's life when he was 2. He hasn't paid child support, but he has a PS5. I feel bad for those kids. I literally feel bad for my child's siblings, that they have to sleep on the floor. And that man has not changed, and it makes my blood boil. My son doesn't have to worry about anything. He's in a loving home. He has grandparents, he has his aunties, his uncles, close family members that are surrounded. My son is loved, and he knows he's loved. And I'm so glad I kept my son out of that situation, because I never not wanted my son to not know his dad. And he's asked, and I've tried. I have receipts. What I am sad for is he's never going to know his siblings. And the way Portland is so small, no telling if he would ever run into his siblings when he gets older. But yeah, Andrew, I hope you showed up to your court case for your child support. That was on October 2nd. It is October 29th. Keep thinking that they're in a house with 2 loving parents. No, they're in a house with 2 selfish parents who don't care about their upbringing and live nasty. And that's why my son was never around. And I'm so glad.
Now that we got the bigger picture of the kind of man we are dealing with here, it's starting to all make sense.
Imagine exploiting your children in the deplorable living conditions on the internet for virality, for fame, for views. And then you wake up in the morning and there's a video circulating around from a woman who has a son with your dusty ass husband. That's right, Brazilian Jenkins, Mr. Drew, allegedly has a son that he is just not involved in his life. And it makes a lot of sense because remember one of my videos where I said he was recorded on live saying he doesn't want a W-2 job? If he gets a W-2 job, he's going to owe years of back pay. They'll relinquish his wages.
They keep begging the internet to make them go viral and send them free items off of their wish list. And people have started sending them a ton of stuff. In fact, people felt so bad for those kids that someone sent them bunk beds and a lock on their door.
So they did get the bunk beds, not because they bought it, not because they bought it because they've got thousands of dollars coming in from TikTok. Besides the point, someone on the registry so graciously bought them the bunk beds, okay, y'all? And he worked himself to the bone to put those bunk beds up, y'all. That was some manual labor that he must have been doing at Home Depot. That's how he knew how to build it. Then they end the video, they got some strobe lights, the kids are having a dance party, and then they show this. They get an extra door lock and a security system, and it's like, I'm glad that you think that that's trying to be more protective for your children, but the problem is they should still be in the bedroom, because the one scenario I'm going to give is that if there were an unfortunate home invasion, what's this going to do? Like, even if there is an alarm system, by the time the doors broke down and the alarm is going off, you're in the bedroom and the kids are already there. Like, I'm sorry, that's not protecting them in the slightest.
And do you think that they put those bunk beds in the room? In the kitchen.
The bunk beds for the girls did arrive. However, it is still the same foam material for the bed. It is not memory foam. The one bed is directly on the floor. There's no box spring, no cover, nothing to prevent moisture from getting in. Another thing that I considered is if they are running their mouth, if they don't live in a good area of Portland, how long until like something could potentially happen? So it's good that they've got the door lock on there. It'd be a little bit nicer, I think, if they got that hotel lock up top.
Again, the fact that they didn't get locks on their doors but had the means to go out and buy a PS5, get some tattoos, oh yeah, and buy them paraphernalias, because as I dug down that rabbit hole, I come to find out they are both very much smokers of a certain substance.
My sister says to me the other day, I don't know how you do it. You just have this like ability to keep going no matter what, no matter how tired you are. Sis, it is because I smoke marijuana. I got that Mary Jane running through my vein.
For 5 minutes. Could you not be yourself?
Smoking is not good for your health, but you know what?
I don't care. I love it.
That's the kind of parents they are. Now, this situation left many people divided whether they should try to help or report them.
You're gonna hate me for this one, but this is my 5th child, okay? Gentle parenting don't do shit. I will not raise my kids with gentle parenting.
That is not her first video, her second video, or her third video where she talks about how she will beat her kids to get them to listen, okay? Not only that, right? But she's dogging gentle parenting, which is just being respectful to your kids, okay? While putting her kids on the floor in a household that she said is covered in cat mess.
They got a lot of backlash, many responses from other creators. This woman right here puts it perfectly.
But my biggest problem is that this woman has come on this app and basically said that she wants to continue having babies as long as she goes viral, which tells me that she doesn't see these babies as human beings, but just as accessories. Because what do you mean you want to continue procreating when these are clearly your living conditions now? And my biggest problem is that man. Like, I saw a video of him serving himself a huge plate of food when there clearly wasn't that much portions of what she had just cooked. And he made it a point to serve himself food so he could eat before his children and basically left whatever crumbs was left for them. It's the fact that he, along with the mother, are okay with living in their bedroom and having it all decked out while their children sleep in the living room on that filthy, disgusting floor. And she also posted a video in September talking about how she's from the South and around here she does not gentle parent, meaning she probably, on top of having her children live in deplorable living conditions, still resorts to physical violence as a form of punishment for her kids. Like the trauma. She's talked about how her kids have had lice for months on end. They have fleas in the house. And through all of that, she's still coming on here to say her husband has told her that if she can go viral, he will continue to give her babies.
Now, after all that pushback, they had to come out with a response.
I have the one other child, Anthony. I've been paying child support via garnishments ever since I can remember. I worked at W-2 since I was 18, 19.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make you sit through that mumble jumble. The audio quality is terrible. They're muffled up. They're just going in circles. It seems like they're leaving you a voicemail. But anyway, the husband just goes in circles and addresses why he doesn't have a job by saying that he had so many jobs in the past and it was just so hard on him. Stephanie actually chimes in and says, they work you to the bone.
Work jobs that works your body to the bone.
So he keeps going on about how he knows his worth and how those jobs just don't pay him enough, but they work him to the bone. And you may be thinking, what kind of jobs is he talking about? It must be like really hard. Construction, roof installation, tiling. What is it? No, it's a gas station, Home Depot, grocery outlet. Get so for real right now. A bunch of nonsense that boils down to it's just a dusty that can't keep a job. Any man that refuses to provide for their family are absolute garbage, trash. Then he briefly addresses the baby mama situation, why he is no longer in that child's life, and he says he doesn't have to explain that. Then they go on to address the bed situation, and this one really got me because they blatantly shift the blame onto the kids and say that they used to have beds, but they're just so destructive that they destroyed them. They broke them down. They even bent the metal. Stephanie talks about how she had a W-2 job as well, but she just decided to quit so she can stay at home with her kids and not have to pay somebody else to raise her kids, which again is understandable, but why aren't you sending that man to work then? Why is she continuously making excuses for why he doesn't work? Because she starts tearing up and starts saying how she would love for him to have a W-2 job, but those kind of jobs just suck the life out of him, and she just wouldn't want him to have to be stuck in a job that sucks the life out of him.
And most of these W-2 jobs are sucking the life out of you.
Say that to the other millions of Americans who work every single day at jobs that they probably don't really enjoy, but they have to do it because they have to provide. Then they briefly go over why they wouldn't want to give up the bedroom because they don't have to explain that, and that we just shouldn't judge their choices. So what I've gathered from that response is they're not sorry and they're not going to go out and get a job. They will just continue to panhandle on social media. Many people that grew up like this started speaking out about what it's like being an adult now and how the poor choices of these types of parents can truly harm a child's development.
I'm a child who grew up similar to what is happening to the Jenkins children. And I'm speaking about it from my perspective. I'm not reading too much into the situation. I'm not projecting my childhood onto these children. I am speaking as an adult who experienced something incredibly similar to what these children are experiencing right now in front of our faces on the internet. My mother was hiding in plain sight. This is what I'm talking about. This person is enjoying the voyeuristic nature of what is happening. I do believe that there are undertones, and it is heartbreaking. It is really hard to know that there's so many of us that have experienced no privacy, no space to call our own, no consideration for our well-being, no priority, no care, no comfort.
You're not going to be surprised when I tell you that this actually goes so much deeper and darker. The mom, Stephanie, is an absolutely sick person, and I hope she protects those two little girls. That man is not their biological father, and he already gives me the creep vibes. Mind you, Stephanie is rumored to have a history of dating PDF files. We'll get to that in another video. And now because of their virality, I hear CPS was informed. I'm not sure what's going to happen moving forward. Seems like they just keep posting their basic daily vlogs still, like nothing's going on. I'm going to leave it here and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.